What's up, ResTech? Welcome back to another episode of ResTech Well-A-Vision. Today I'm going to talk about something that a lot of you may have mixed opinions on, but I will preface it by saying that the concept is really kind of centered around one of ResTech's core values. So going into it, just wanted to set the stage for that because I know it's something that the wording has kind of a negative connotation to it, but I'm going to put a little bit of a positive spin on it and kind of the same idea with the actual core value and how it functions within ResTech's culture. So what I'm going to talk about today is the idea of failure. And I am a big proponent of the thought process or the idea or the belief that you actually have to fail to win. Okay, so think about that. I know it doesn't sound right, but think about what that could actually mean. So you actually have to fail in order to win. Now, when we're working towards something or working on a project or setting goals and working towards goals, I'm not talking about an instance where you're going into something and the desired outcome is failure. So I'll give you an example of that. So, there is a workout method that constantly the idea is to literally go to failure. Like, that is the concept. You want to maximal output, go to failure. So failure is the intended outcome. That's not what I'm talking about. Personally, I don't believe in that methodology of exercise, but the intended outcome going in shouldn't be to fail. What I'm talking about is you shouldn't be afraid to fail. Now, going into these things, different goals, different processes, different aspirations, as you're working toward a specific end, let's say you don't quite get there. So essentially you fail to reach the desired outcome. But instead of going through and looking back at yourself that, oh, I didn't make it, I failed, go back and look at the process that you went through. So any time that you go through a process, hopefully, even if you fail to reach the desired outcome, go look at the steps and go look at the progress that you made in the journey, in the path to get to wherever you ended up, whether it was success or failure, and think about how much growth and how much you learned and how much you've improved yourself and your processes through that journey. So go back and look, because unless you went through and learned about how some areas, like if you failed at something, you went and learned at some areas that you could improve on. Maybe you've learned some areas where you found out something shouldn't be done that way. So now you can go back and make those course corrections and improve on it the next time. I think there was a famous quote by Thomas Edison where they talked about how, I forget what the actual number was, but he failed to make a light bulb like 10,000 times, and they asked him what that was like, and he said, I didn't fail 10,000 times. I found 10,000 ways not to make a light bulb. I'm paraphrasing, of course. I can't remember the exact quote off the top of my head, but it's that concept. So the journey is the important part, and if you fail to accomplish that, then there's another quote that if you're in any competition or any process or game or anything like that, there's going to be two outcomes. You're either going to win or you're going to learn. So it's not win or lose, it's win or learn. So even if you lose, you can go back and you can look at the process, you can look at the steps you took, you can look at the actions you took, and find out which ones didn't work for you. And then the next game or the next goal process or the next whatever, you can go back and correct these and then be more successful along the path. And also, the last thing that I want to touch on as far as failure, and this is big to think about. So when you fail at something, failure is not a noun. Okay, failure is not a label that is put on somebody. If you do not accomplish what you set out to accomplish, you are not a failure. Failure is a verb, it's an action. It's something that happens that you can do, and the good thing about that is, as I've been saying, you can go back and you can correct the actions, you can improve the process. So it's not a noun, or you shouldn't look at it as a noun. So our core value is fast failure, that we encourage, going through new processes, and if we fail, to be able to quickly learn from what we've done and then course correct and find a better solution. In fact, just before I started recording this episode, I saw a post on one of the social media outlets, I don't remember, and it said, be brave enough to suck at something new. So basically, don't let the fear of failure or the fear of not being good at something stop you from trying something new that could ultimately propel you forward. And I'm here to say with this episode that you are going to need to fail a number of times along the way in order to be able to learn, in order to be able to grow, in order to be able to succeed, and ultimately you're going to need to fail in order to be able to win. So I'll leave you with one last quote along these same lines, is and I'll never forget it, because the fear of failure is something that stops a lot of people from aspiring to do things, to trying to work towards specific goals or outcomes that they want. And I remember listening to a guy named Thomas Plummer speak at a fitness conference I was at, and he said, if you've never failed at something, then you haven't tried enough stuff. So he's actually encouraging the idea of going after it and failing, dusting yourself off, getting back up, learning from your mistakes. And that's the other important part, guys. You got to learn from your mistakes so you don't repeat them, course correct, and then you can keep going on the next path. So guys, I hope you like this one. Fail to win. Learn from your mistakes, learn from the journey, and ultimately win big. So there you have it, guys. Think about it. Failure, it's not a label, it's not a noun, it's an action, it's a verb, it's something that you can correct, and it's something that's necessary to be successful. I hope you guys like that one. I hope it was thought-provoking, hope it was change-provoking. If you thought so, please let me know. I'd love to hear from you guys, and I will end this episode as I always do, is suggesting that if you have any ideas, requests, suggestions, or anything for topics to be on these Well-A-Vision episodes, please let us know. If you have a personal story, or you know somebody with a personal wellness story that would be good to share with everybody via this platform, let me know that too. With that, guys, I hope you are having a great week so far. Fail to win, win big. We will catch you next time. Later.